Professor Melinda Bandelaria, plastic patrollers, and classmates. An eco friendly and sustainable day to all of you. I am Karen, and I will talk about the overview and situation analysis of Plastic Patrol being a social marketing and social mobilization program. Let's start. In support of the tremendous efforts by the United Nations to fight against plastic pollution and combat its danger to the environment, people, and society, the Project Plastic Patrol, a social marketing effort for sustainable solutions and responsible means, has come into place. Specifically, Plastic Patrol is anchored on UN Sustainable Development Goal number 12, responsible consumption and production, with correlated contents in SDG 13, climate action, SDG 14, life below water, and SDG 15, life on land. Let's now dig into the rationale, situationer, target audience, and conceptual framework of Plastic Patrol. The United Nations Environment Program is actively advocating to patrol plastics because our planet is choking on plastic. They say it is high time that we change how we produce, consume, and dispose of the plastic we use. In the year 2022, the United Nations noted that plastic production soared from 2 million tons to 348 million tons in 2017. The global economy is hurt by up to 2.5 trillion US dollars due to plastic waste thrown over the seas, causing massive marine plastic pollution. The United Nations also furthered that plastic pollution reduces the environmental ability to adapt to climate change, food production and capabilities, and overall human social well being. The National Caucus of Environmental Legislators support this statement by their study that revealed that the reduction of marine ecosystem services equals a loss of $500 billion to $2.5 trillion per year due to $33,000 per metric ton of plastic pollution all over the world. The National Institutes of Health defines plastic pollution as the unmanaged disposal of plastic waste in water and on land. It strongly calls for global action against plastic toxicity and food supply interference because they threaten human health. As an example, the Boston College Global Observatory on Planetary Health cited in the report that workers in plastic production industries were at particular risk of physical harm. They suffer increased mortality from traumatic injury, cardiovascular disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and lung cancer. Psychologically speaking, too much plastic waste causes mental health issues such as anxiety, stress, and depression. For communities living in areas with high levels of plastic use, frustration, helplessness, and crisis in life may overwhelm them. Mental advocate and plastic pollution manager Rachel Kosha wrote that it is a constant reminder of humanity's failure to protect the environment. It downgrades to the feelings of guilt, shame, and despair. So those are one of the rationale statements that serve as foundation for our plastic patrol project. Really wanted to help the environment ability and potentials to adapt to climate change, to minimize the possibilities of health threats, and make marine creatures breathe freely into the ocean, free from plastics. So as we go on with our situationer, we're going to localize the setting. This social mobilization plan will now focus strategically on the efforts and situation of our dear country, Philippines. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources recorded about 24% of an average 61,000 metric tons of waste collected daily consist mainly of used plastics. This is practically 60 million plastic sachet packets and over 14 million shipping bags and thin film bags. Additionally, DENR Assistant Secretary Director Ricardo Calderon said that the sachet economy, such as the three-in-one packages and plastic straws, is one of the economic drivers in the Philippine economy. However, to mitigate the excessive effects of plastics, the Philippines has also passed several laws ordinances, and the policies concerning environmental sustainability and conservation. One of which is the Extended Producer Responsibility Act. It is a law that aims to hold companies responsible for the plastic they use. But despite this enactment, only 709 out of 4,000 listed companies in the entire Philippines have taken steps to craft their plastic waste management plan designed to eliminate unnecessary plastic trash. Many municipalities have implemented policies targeting single use plastics, notably bags. However, as of 2017, 5 out of 18 cities in Metro Manila, the national capital region of the Philippines and the most densely populated region of the country, have yet to implement regulations or bans plastic bags. More so, the implementation of these policies varies widely, as does their effectiveness. While some cities have only seen 4% decline in total plastic and polystyrene trash after policy implementation, others have seen compliance of up to 90%. So there is already seen effectiveness on the implementation of the program. But what we really want is for more municipalities and bigger collective actions will be done to take this cause. So the main goal of Plastic Patrol is to influence individual action of private and public sector employees towards sustainable practices and responsible consumption, focusing on reducing and refusing single-use plastics or SUPs in their daily lives. So, allow me to elaborate the objectives of our project. First, to increase awareness of at least 1,000 private public sector employees working in the central business districts across Metro Manila about the adverse effects of irresponsible consumption, as well as the long term advantages of responsible consumption from April to May 2024. Second, to identify and collaborate with at least two local policymaking institutions or agencies campaigning about existing local ordinances on reducing and eliminating SUP from June 2024 to June 2025. And our third objective. Thirdly, to guide at least one company organization operating in one of the cities or municipalities in Metro Manila to develop institutional guidelines in reducing SUP within a workplace from September 2024 to September 2025. At this juncture, allow me to lead you to our target audience. The primary target audience of Plastic Patrol are wage earners who have the purchase power and capacity to consume and manage plastic products. They are potentially mobilizable and capable to influence family, friends, and colleagues, among others. They are able to adopt sustainable ways, and we deem that they can also be able to adopt responsible consumptions either in the comfort of their homes or at their workstations. They are capable of influencing values and lifestyles towards single use plastic among their community. This project also target policymakers as the next key target audience. This is to hope that more basis for effective legal frameworks and government structures will be crafted to support and promote the reduction of plastic consumption. The remaining group or target audience consists of environmental non-government organizations, which will help in assisting and increasing outreach through grassroots level activities under the project. This will help increase awareness and in turn the uptake of the practices for reducing single-use plastic consumption. So these are our main target audiences for Plastic Patrol. To give direction in the designing and drafting of the communication materials, the team also identified variables to further delimit the target segment according to the location, age, education, communication seeking habits, and practices. So, for our primary target audience, who are the private and public sector employees, they are mainly located in Metro Manila. 25 to 34 years old with a high school and college diploma. They are digital savvy and has multiple social media platforms used in various purposes. And as to their practice, they usually buy takeout foods. So, right now, allow me to discuss factors influencing adoption of the behavior. So, here are the perceived barriers that our team has created. For private and public employees, the limited availability of affordable single use plastic alternatives in their cafeterias, insufficient knowledge on the impact of plastic in the environment, difficulty in identifying recycling facilities in the workplace. For policymaking institution, the balance of the goals with the economic interests of constituents that they may rely on the plastic industry, as well as the policies on sustainable consumption that are not a priority, as there are other environmental issues perceived to be more important. And as for community or organization, their competing environmental priorities. Another factor to influence adoption of the behavior would be the potential benefits. So for our primary target audience, that would be the recognition, image, or rewards for sustainable practices, perceived accomplishment in alignment with personal and social responsibility values, and a healthier workplace environment. For our second target audience, legacy on environmental leadership. They will have improved public health and safety, potential for external funding for sustainable initiatives, and reduced costs for waste management. And for environmental NGOs, our third target audience, fortifying organizational authority in supporting relevant campaigns, increase public engagements through partnerships, and potential networking opportunities with public and private sectors through awareness campaigns. Another factor that influence adoption of the behavior would be the competing behaviors. So, firstly, for private and public employees, the existing contracts with plastic suppliers, perceived norms or culture on the use of SUPs in company events, and convenience culture in fast flowing work environment. For policymaking institutions or agencies, the existing tie with stakeholders relying heavily on plastic industry, perceived economic pressure resulting in engagement and or promotion of plastic yielding industries, and in company or organization existing culture of reliance on plastic-based materials for activities, lack of ability to demonstrate the tangible impact of reduced plastic use in stakeholders. And lastly, what are the factors that could influence in the adoption of the behavior would be individuals or important others among these target audience. So for private and public employees, the core sustainability champions promoting positive practices in the workplace, senior management leading by examples, cafeteria admin promoting reduced single-use plastic use. And for policymaking institutions or agencies, success stories from similar organizations, support and or endorsement from reputable groups and or other individuals. And for third target audience, collaborations with academic institutions for research and development initiatives, and the public endorsement from prominent environmental advocates. And going through the last part of my discussion would be the conceptual framework. This initiative will build on Navarro's social mobilization framework. In Dr. Navarro's framework, communication serves as the hub of social mobilization. This signifies that communication is the element that ignites and moves the process of social mobilization in attaining the desired action among stakeholders. So that is the diagram of social mobilization framework by Dr. Navarro. And similar to her framework, communication methods are central to Plastic Patrol's social mobilization project. Our team has utilized digital channels and strategies to facilitate advocacy and capacity building. Social media is and will be the platform for positioning strategic information communication as well as facilitating the learning process toward responsible and sustainable consumption. So here are the products of our publication materials done in Facebook and Instagram, as well as other activities in the future. So that ends this part of the presentation. Thank you so much, and once again, an eco friendly and sustainable day to all.
Thank you, Ken, for delivering the overview of the Plastic Patrol campaign. Anyway, my name is Gerard ATIENZA, and I am tasked to discuss the social marketing components of Plastic Patrol, including how we spread the word out and the sub campaigns we use to get our message across. Revisiting Ken's discussion, we can iterate Objective 1 of the Plastic Patrol campaign, which is to increase awareness of public and private sector workers in Metro Manila on the adverse effects of irresponsible consumption while offering long term advantages on responsible consumption from April to May 2024. If we think about it, our group had only 3 weeks to carry out the advocacy and social marketing procedures, the details of which our group mate John will discuss in his part of this presentation. Now we understand that given the short time span, there's a lot of work we have to do when carry out doing marketing work for Plastic Patrol. Fortunately, there are available platforms where we can reach out to our target audiences and mobilize them toward our goals. For this campaign, our group has chosen Facebook and Instagram, two social media networks operated by Meta platforms. Using Facebook and Instagram for our advocacy offers benefits such as wide reach, visual appeal, engagement opportunities, targeted advertising, community building, measurable impact, and cost effectiveness. We aim to effectively raise awareness and inspire action among our target audiences through these platforms. Our social media channels are publicly available and can be subscribed to using the links in this slide deck. All group members are administrators of these social media assets, and we jointly manage and monitor progress of content that we also jointly think about and create. To realize Objective 1, we implemented the information, education, communication, and advocacy components of social mobilization by utilizing digital platforms to disseminate key messages. We adopted 5 social media campaigns as integral parts of the project strategy, aiming to engage target audiences through engaging posts promoting sustainable practices and responsible consumption. Each campaign category serves as a primary theme for all posts on the Plastic Patrol Facebook page and Instagram account, ensuring organized messaging and better audience recall. To kickstart the Plastic Patrol campaign on social media, we opened our Facebook and Instagram pages with a series of introductory posts about the Plastic Patrol initiative and its main objectives. Our messages included an overview of SDG number 12 and ways to support it, as well as the premise that the SDGs are not just lofty ideals, but actionable guidelines for creating a better world. Inspired by the of course trend on social media, we have the hashtag #BeThatPlasticPatrollers sub-campaign featuring a series of curated videos of individuals promoting responsible consumption and production. These videos manifest the significance of individual actions in combating plastic pollution and how ordinary people are able to make extraordinary changes in their daily lives in support of SDG number 12. Dapat Alam Mo is another sub-campaign composed of a series of engaging social media posts delving into the latest trends and reports regarding the detrimental impacts of irresponsible plastic consumption, common misconceptions about sustainability, the benefits of embracing sustainable consumption, and pertinent policies in effect. This sub-campaign is supported with the latest information, data, and research on the adverse effect of irresponsible consumption in an easily digestible format that addresses common misconceptions about sustainability and provide accurate information to empower individuals to make positive changes. In that vein, Dapat Gawin Mo features a series of social media posts offering actionable steps to adopt responsible plastic consumption and integrate sustainable practices into everyday life. It drives the message across our target audiences that sustainability is not just a choice, but a lifestyle worth embracing, and every effort, no matter how small, contributes to building a more sustainable future for generations to come. Last but not least, we also have a series of general posts which encompass a variety of content such as relevant news stories, feature stories, and compelling narratives that are worthy of sharing across Plastic Patrol's social media platforms, with the goal of keeping our target audiences informed about the latest news and updates concerning plastic pollution, sustainability, and environmental conservation. This ends my part of this presentation. I'll hand you over to our classmate, Louis Ferrolino. Louis, take it away.
Good day, Doc Mellon classmates. I am Louis and I am pleased to continue our group report by discussing our project's social mobilization component. While we only needed to implement the social marketing component of our projects, we ensured that the social mobilization aspect of Plastic Patrol was laid out well in our plan. In fact, our social mobilization efforts covered the two of the three objectives of our project. These are the objectives number 2 and 3, which previously discussed by Ken as follows. These objectives are conservative and attainable, considering a small-scale team like Plastic Patrol. Nonetheless, we made sure that these efforts are designed to bring about impactful results toward the attainment of our overall goal. In addressing objective number 2, we devised 3 specific strategies. First is the LGU's Go Green. It is a comprehensive strategy designed to tap into the potential of LGUs and local groups as key stakeholders in the fight against plastic pollution. We plan to pilot this project in Mandaluyong and Muntinlupa, which identified by Filipino scientists as having the highest concentration of microplastics in the air in Metro Manila. This strategy will be complemented by the initiative we called the Green Office Revolution. In partnership with LGUs, this initiative aims to mobilize individuals within workplace environments to champion sustainable practices and minimize plastic waste, contributing to broader environmental conservation efforts. Finally, we want to equip the employees and employers with the knowledge and skills needed to effectively implement sustainable practices in the workplace. As such, we will also conduct a series of webinars under the banner name Beyond Single Use, Rethinking Plastics in the Workplace. These 3 strategies encompass various elements of social mobilization, including advocacy, information, education and communication or IEC, network and alliance building, and capacity building. Down to our third and last objective, we have crafted 4 main strategies. First is partnering with the Department of Education on environmental sustainability and responsible plastic consumption. We have chosen DepEd being one of the national government agencies with the largest number of employees and considering its extensive reach and influence. To complement this initiative, we designed an advocacy campaign titled Edu Kalikasan, Plastic Ay Iwasan. It aims to disseminate information, education, and communication materials within DepEd corners and bulletin boards about simple and sustainable ways to combat massive plastic use. It also aims to develop strong retention and recall among staff and employees. Still in partnership with DepEd, the Plastic Patrol will host the Kapihan sa DepEd WhatsApp series. It aims to educate DepEd staff on the impacts of plastic pollution by conducting webinars and trainings to be participated by marine experts, environmental scientists, and the like. Finally, to ensure our project's long-term impact, we will conduct mini workshops in the creation of policies aligned with national laws and DepEd guidelines on single-use plastic reduction. We expect these policies to also be replicated in other government agencies and private firms later on. And just like our strategies for Objective 2, these initiatives incorporate various elements of social mobilization, namely advocacy, information, education and communication, network and alliance building, and capacity building. Well, that concludes the social mobilization component of Plastic Patrol. We will now proceed to the fourth part of our group report to to be discussed by John.
Good day, dear classmates and friends. My name is John Kayaban, and I am one of the members of Section D, Group Number 3. You have learned a lot about Plastic Patrol by this time from Ken, Gerard, and Louie. What the project is all about, Plastic Patrol's social marketing and social mobilization components. Now, we will talk about the internal processes we have undergone to ensure that Plastic Patrol is always anchored to our objectives and ensure the smooth execution of our campaigns. Plastic Patrol Campaign Overview. Just a recap, Plastic Patrol aims to inform the targeted audiences about the adverse effects of irresponsible consumption as well as the long term advantages of responsible consumption through comprehensive social marketing and social mobilization initiatives that we have. This part outlines the pre campaign, campaign proper, and post campaign initiatives that we did, emphasizing the strategic campaign plan matrix. Pre-campaign. The pre-campaign phase focused on laying the groundwork for the Plastic Patrol project. It involved extensive planning, development of assets, and establishment of social media platforms. Key activities included the following. Number one, identification of project requirements and SDGs in focus through brainstorming sessions that we had. Number two is the development of the project overview, including the title, rationale, and target audiences. Third is the creation of the project logo, tagline, and brand guidelines to ensure consistency. Next would be the creation of social media pages, such as our Facebook and our Instagram pages. Next would be the promotion of social media accounts to garner likes and followers. That will be the through campaign zero initiative that we had. Next, creation of task groups and designation of responsibilities, like divide and conquer. Last one would be the drafting of the different plastic patrol social marketing and social mobilization plan. The campaign proper phase marked the implementation of our five social marketing and social mobilization initiatives designed to achieve our objectives. These campaigns were strategically planned and executed over a 3-week period. Key highlights include the following. Number one, launch of Campaign Zero, introducing Plastic Patrol and our objectives. Second would be the curated videos featuring individuals promoting responsible consumption through hashtag Be the Plastic Patrollers. Third would be engaging posts presenting the latest trends and reports regarding plastic consumption, SDG number 12, and other SDGs such as numbers 13, 14, and 15 for dapat alam mo posts. Fourth would be the actionable steps for adopting responsible plastic consumption through dapat gawin mo posts. Fifth would be sharing relevant news articles and feature stories through general posts. Each week of the campaign proper focused on specific themes and involved a variety of content formats such as images, videos, carousels or slideshows, and reels. Moreover, our group also developed a social media content tracker and applied revision and approval guidelines to check each campaign initiative thoroughly before scheduling or publishing each post. Following the campaign proper phase, a post campaign evaluation was conducted to assess the effectiveness of Plastic Patrol and whether the objectives were met or not. Our group used the following key performance indicators or KPIs. Number one would be the engagements, which include likes, comments, and shares. Also, content interactions that are essential metrics indicating direct engagement with our content. providing immediate insights to audience reactions to posts. Second would be the follower growth rate. Follower count measures the pace of audience growth over time. A rising follower count indicates increased visibility and reach of the social media page that we have for Facebook and on Instagram. Next would be the engagement rate, a comprehensive metric measuring active engagement with content, often expressed as a percentage of total interactions such as likes, comments, and shares. Rain will thoroughly discuss these metrics on our next report. Last one would be the page traffic, which is the average number of users frequenting the project's social media pages. Our strategic campaign plan in Plastic Patrol effectively utilized pre campaign, campaign proper, and post campaign initiatives to raise awareness and drive behavior change towards sustainable practices and responsible consumption, anchored to SDG number 12. Through targeted messaging and engagement strategies, the project aimed to make a significant impact in combating plastic pollution, and promoting environmental conservation. Of course, misunderstanding happened among us plastic patrollers, and that's normal. The antidotes are constant communication, empathy, professionalism, and forward thinking. Moreover, as long as your team is anchored to the set goals, everything will be all right. Plastic Patrol effectively utilized Meta Ads Manager by Meta Business Suite to promote its campaigns and reach its targeted audiences. This part outlines the budget allocation and strategy for sponsored or boosted posts on Facebook and Instagram. Plastic Patrol has allocated a budget for sponsored or boosted posts on Facebook and Instagram for us to better target our audiences. Each sponsored or boosted post costs 500 pesos and runs for 7 days. The team has initially agreed to sponsor or boost a number of three dapat gawin mo campaigns amounting to 1,500 pesos. We were unable to have a dapat gawin mo campaign in week number 3, so we only spent an amount of 1,000 pesos. Plastic Patrol target audiences and strategy. The sponsored or boosted posts made sure that our campaigns targeted specific demographics, interests, and behaviors that are relevant to our campaign objectives. These include the following. Number one, geo-targeting. The targeted audiences residing in Metro Manila. Languages, English and Filipino. Demographics, men and women aged 25 to 34 years old with education and interests in development studies and sustainability and working in companies of various sizes. Psychographics include interests in nature, climate, local government, and food establishments. As for the strategy, boosting or sponsoring dapat gawin mo campaigns aligns with the Plastic Patrol's goal of encouraging responsible plastic consumption and promoting sustainable practices. These campaigns are tailored to influence the intended social behaviors of our targeted audiences. In summary, our strategic budget allocation for sponsored or boosted posts on Facebook and Instagram demonstrated our commitment to reaching our targeted audiences effectively. By targeting specific demographics and interests or psychographics using the Meta Ads Manager, the campaigns um, are effective to drive engagement and behavior change toward sustainable practices. Up next would be Rain. She will discuss the monitoring phase we did as plastic patrollers. Thank you.
Hi, mayong adlaw Doc Mel and my fellow plastic patrollers. Thank you, John, for preceding this report with a discussion on internal processes. Moving on, I am Rain and I am going to discuss the monitoring phase of the social marketing plan for Plastic Patrol. So let's start with some terms we are going to encounter as we look into some data extracted from Meta Business Suite, which is the main platform we used for monitoring our KPIs. So these terms are as follows. Reach shows how many people see your Facebook or Instagram content, whether it's from ads, posts, stories, tags, and visits to your page or profile. Content interactions counts the likes, comments, shares, and other actions people take on your content, including your ads. Followers is the total number of people who follow your page or profile, calculated by adding new follows and subtracting unfollows. Link clicks track the number of clicks on the links in your content, including your ads. We have identified four key performance indicators or KPIs for Plastic Patrol. These are engagements, follower growth rate, engagement rate, and page traffic. So, translating this to the metrics we can find on Meta Business Suite, engagements, the cluster data of content reach or interactions, both organic and paid ads, follower growth rate, the Facebook and Instagram followers, including page likes on Facebook, engagement rate, content interactions with benchmarking on nonprofit organizations and religious organizations category, page traffic, Facebook and Instagram page visits. So, in the following slides, we will be looking into the performance overview of the page, consisting of the KPIs that we have identified here. We will also look at the weekly monitoring for page performance, both Facebook and Instagram. We have identified four key performance indicators or KPIs for Plastic Patrol. So here's the 3-week campaign overview by Meta Business Suite for Facebook. So for the 3-week span of the campaign, we have been seeing cumulative growth in terms of our KPIs, starting with engagements, which is our first KPI. As we can see, we reached 27.8K users and gained 1K content interactions. For the follower growth rate, our second KPI, we gained 442 followers and 255 likes in 3 weeks of the campaign. Meanwhile, for Instagram, we also saw cumulative growth in terms of our KPIs, starting with engagements. As we can see, we reached 607 users and gained 251 content interactions. For follower growth rate, we have 32 followers gained in the 3-week span of the campaign. Implications for this would be that most of our target audience is more active on Facebook than Instagram. Second, we cannot send mass invites on Instagram since most of us are on Facebook, and we don't have any boosted content on Instagram, unlike Facebook, where we have two boosted content, which are the dapat gawin mo posts. So moving on, we will get into the third KPI, which is the engagement rate. As we have defined this KPI, engagement rate is content interactions with benchmarking on nonprofit organizations and religious organizations in the same category. So we have for Facebook here where we are 1K higher than others when it comes to content interactions. Notably, that's a positive outcome given that the campaign has fared for only 3 weeks so far. Same goes with the Instagram engagement rate compared to other pages in the same category. We are 257 higher in content interactions. Anyway, for benchmarking or the third KPI, which is engagement rate, we can only get the data for the 3-week span for both FB and Insta. So we won't be covering this in the succeeding weekly report. Meanwhile, here we can see the total number of Facebook and Instagram visits respectively, which translates to the last KPI or the page traffic. So we earned a total of 2.3K visits for Facebook and 103 page visits for Instagram. Moving on to weekly monitoring of here is the week 1 report for Facebook. So these numbers are achieved organically since we haven't boosted any content in the first week. So we reached 988 users, content interactions at 159, and followers at 113 on week 1. Moving on to Instagram performance for week one. Apparently, the first week performance mirrors Facebook with most metrics going up. 101 users reached and 76 content interactions. Since this is a lifetime count, the Instagram followers count will be static at 32 for all 3 weeks here. Now for Facebook and Insta page traffic or page visits, we had 949 FB visits and 35 Insta profile visits. Moving on to Facebook Week 2 report, we advanced to 14.9K users reached, content interactions at 523, and 114 followers. We have posted one paid ad here, which is the DGM SDGs number 12 and number 13, justifying the 13,077 users reached in this report. For Instagram week 2 performance, we got similar pattern with Facebook with most metrics going up, 314 users reached and 118 content interaction. For week 2 page traffic, we saw a quarter decline in Facebook page visits totaling 766 and Instagram going strong at 37 page visits. For Facebook's week 3 performance, we posted another paid ad which resulted in 17.4K reach, 318 interactions, 65 followers, and 28 link clicks. So we saw a decline in two KPIs here, which is content interaction and followers. On the final week, as we had two lapsed content translating to unfulfilled supposed total content to be posted on week 3, thus this decline in content interactions and followers. The same goes with Instagram with a notable 51.7% decline in content interactions and 1.9% decline in reach. As mentioned by John, we were unable to have a paid ad for Dapat Gawin Mo in week 3, thus justifying this quarter worth of decline in visits for both Facebook and Instagram. So I think I have covered all of our KPIs essential for the monitoring phase. Daghang salamat, and that ends the discussion for the monitoring phase. The next section, the evaluation of social marketing, will be reported by Miss Roxy.
Thank you, Karen, for discussing the monitoring part of our social marketing endeavor. Now, I am Maria Roxanne Nicolas and I am assigned to discuss the evaluation of our social marketing plan. To begin with, let us remember that every social marketing plan and even program implementation needs evaluation. Evaluation is a process that critically examines a program. This involves collecting and analyzing information about the program's activities, characteristics, and outcomes. Its purpose is to make judgment about the program to improve its effectiveness and to inform program decisions. The results of our evaluation will be used to help our team move forward with our next objectives of the project. The purpose of this evaluation is to review the accomplishments of the social marketing component of the Plastic Patrol project, focusing on the implementation of information, education, and communication campaigns on social media. Particularly, the team specified three parameters for this evaluation. First is to identify the efficiency of the pre campaign activities. Second is to check the relevance of the campaign plan based on the intended target audience during the campaign proper. And lastly, for the post campaign, we would like to check on the effectiveness of the campaign based on the metrics identified in our social mobilization plan. In every project implementation or social mobilization projects or even social marketing initiatives, it is also important to evaluate the processes involved for us to achieve the goals. In this way, implementers will have a reference point of the best practices that can be duplicated or the areas that needs for improvement. The evaluation covered an assessment of the efficiency of Objective 1, whether resources have been used economically within the specified time frame. The main findings are as follows. Under resource management, the group members' skills are befitting to implement the activities of the project. The As a result, the team managed to resolve challenges related to the execution of the activities and technical struggles with communications as the team members are managing the project online. Given the limited 3-week timeline of the campaign, the team was able to design and create ISC materials. However, we think that continuous campaign is still needed to reach more targeted audiences. Considering the output coverage, the team was able to limit the cost of the implementation. As mentioned by John, we've only spent 1,000 pesos for boosting the IEC material online. Meanwhile, talking about relevance, this evaluation also aimed to analyze whether the design and intervention of social marketing plan were in line with the targeted audience profile and based on the information that they need to know. If you remember, in the earlier parts of the report, Keren mentioned that the team studied and reviewed the profile of the intended audience, including the perceived barriers that can affect them to adopt a sustainable behavior. Some of the data reviewed revealed that the target audience has insufficient knowledge about the impact of plastic to the environment. The data reviewed and analyzed by the team were helpful for the team to create relevant messages intended for them. This is an example of one of the messages the team created. In section 1, it was again discussed by Karen that findings of her literature review said that the intended audience has insufficient knowledge of the impact of plastics in the environment. In this regard, we have this social media posting regarding relevant information of how plastics are polluting our environment. Regarding measuring the effectiveness of the campaign, the team stand that we need more time to promote the Plastic Patrol initiative and advocacy for us to measure if there will be a change on the behavior for the intended audience. However, in this early stage, we could say that the campaign was successful in engaging different people in their social media campaign, particularly the Be the Plastic Patrollers, where different employees shared their sustainable actions. To further help us in the analysis of our evaluation, let's answer this question all together. Did the team manage resources efficiently to reach the overall objective? We answer yes. We have maximized the talents and skills of the team as well as employed the practicality, the accessibility, and affordability of online platforms, including social media channels, Google Meet, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Canva, and many more. This resulted to the efficient management of resources and contributed to the success of the campaign. Was the campaign plan relevant to the intended audience? Of course, yes. The campaign plan was carefully designed considering the profile and the media habits of the target audience. Say, for instance, we considered in creating our message the language and the tone. We use an engaging and a mix of Tagalog and English because in the Central Business District, Tagalog and English are primarily the main language that is used. Also, considering the media habits of the intended audience, we chose Instagram and Facebook and was able to um, chose the most fitting and economical platform to reach them. And most importantly, did we reach at least 1,000 private and public sector employees working in the CBD across Metro Manila? And we answered yes. The data analytics presented by Reyna earlier features that the Plastic Patrol pages was able to meet its target number of audience for its online IEC campaign. In Meta, cumulatively, it reached 27,800 people. Meanwhile, for Facebook, it garnered 2.3K visits, and on Instagram, we had 103 visits. In addition to this, the meta analytics reflect that the Plastic Patrol page was able to reach people from Quezon City, Manila, Caloocan, Parañaque, Pasig. This is 5 or 50% of the 10 cities that were identified by Meta wherein the people resides. So this is again in line with the objective of Plastic Patrol of reaching public and private sector employees working in the CBD across Metro Manila. In conclusion, the team was able to manage resources efficiently, which led them to tailor fit relevant messages to reach the maximum number of targeted audiences. Given the challenges of limited timeline and in communication, the team will continue to pursue to achieve Objective 2 and Objective 3 of the social marketing plan to further advocate and influence sustainable practices for everyone.